what
Yeah, if you were expecting something like ridiculously shocking or whatever, then you might be disappointed.
Welcome to our Hammer On spoiler cast for Uncharted 4. Here today with us, obviously, Sam and myself. And we've got our good friend and drummer, Blake Innendorfer, joining us for the convo. What's up, Blake?
Not much, just came here to join you guys for this.
Yeah, thanks,
Excited
bro.
to talk about it.
Me too. So let's get right into it. What did we think of just the game in general, first of all? Just to recap real quick.
I thought it was pretty good. The story was excellent. It was pretty good. Action-packed. Adrenaline roller coaster.
Did it surprise you guys at any point? As far as plot concerned?
Well, if you've played the game...
Which hopefully you have, because there's
all the
going to
way
be spoilers.
If you're doing this just because you don't have a PlayStation 4 and you want to know the plot, then yeah. But obviously the middle point of the game, Rafe reveals that Sam pretty much conned you into doing your whole
adventure.
Yeah, your treasure venture. Because at the start, you're pretty much informed about how Sam is forced to get half of this pirate treasure from Pirate Avery, which is going to be, I think it was like 400 million or
400
something.
million, yeah.
So you have to give him $200 million, and obviously there's no way, if you know anything about Nathan Drake or his brother, he has no money to give, so...
Even though he's found many lost cities before, he still has no money.
Lost all the money for those. Oh my god. Well, yeah. So that twist with Sam did definitely surprise me, because the whole beginning of the game had us kind of leading into the idea that the villain might be the drug lord.
Alcazar.
Alcazar, yeah.
Hector Alcazar.
Yeah, and I honestly thought like it would, like near the end of the game or something, that Hector would come in, intervene, maybe like kill Rafe or something, and some crazy shit would happen. But
yeah, I totally saw that coming too. But I mean, it didn't play out that way.
Yeah.
The thing is that they hid the twist really well, because obviously you play through a whole mission with Alcazar, and you're playing through and you actually like experience this whole like fight with him, and obviously they played it really well, where obviously it's like a tutorial mission, I think, for shooting,
for him playing, I think without the if it wasn't a playable mission, if he was just talking and telling the story, then I would have been like, yeah, that's bullshit. But because you actually had to play through it, it felt real. So
100%.
And that's why I didn't expect it at all.
Yeah.
But
because otherwise it would just feel like just another regular, like, a drug lord's trying to con you into money when you don't.
Yeah. I don't know. As far as the ending, though, I think the ending is something that most people didn't really expect.
Especially the way it was advertised.
Yeah, the way it was advertised was very dark, and then obviously the last game they did was The Last of Us. So that game, obviously, was very dark as well.
In which they're the same developers, Neil Druckmann versus Straley. So. And
they were working on the story in the game, so I expected something different there. But what did you guys think of the ending?
Well, I think the ending, it was definitely the most mundane ending, actually. So I totally pictured a completely different ending, but especially with the advertised it. I pictured explosions and deaths and death, it really sure. Just none of that happened.
Yeah, it was definitely a more happy ending.
Yeah.
Well, even
it was like a perfect ending.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
for everyone.
Like even like when you think of Sam too, like you think someone's gonna at least die off, and then even Nate comes to the rescue with an idea to shoot the ship, have it flood, so because Sam gets like a piece of like lumber stuck on top of him, and he can't move it because obviously he's weak as hell at the point because he just got the piece of lumber, and Nate's been through a huge sword fight where he got like cut in the stomach and arms and stuff. So
I also thought he was gonna die at the end, or I thought that Sam was gonna get out, but that he would fuck something else up and that someone else would die, like Sully or something like that, like someone that's innocent. But no, everyone made it out alive.
Yeah, surprisingly.
I don't know. But yeah, so of me particularly, I just thought Sully would die because I thought that he was like the innocent kind of, well, not mastermind character, but you know, like the influence on Nathan and everything. And I thought somehow Sam was gonna completely ruin that. But
yeah, well, especially when he's like, no, when they're separated, and then Sam's like, I'm going back, and he's dragging all of us back, and I thought at least someone was gonna.
At that point, I actually thought, so at the point where Sam splits up with Nathan and he tells the group that he wants to leave, I thought that what was going to happen was that Sam would just go with the group to the plane and then screw something up where like point a gun at Sully all of a sudden and tell him to go back.
Blow up the airplane or something.
Because he was so adamant on getting the treasure. He's
and then he was like, okay, yeah, I'll come with you guys.
Just so frustrated.
I was like, oh God, he's going to do something. But then he took it upon himself, which I thought was interesting. Didn't expect that. But as far as the actual ending now, so so obviously skip ahead. We see after the cutscenes, after we play one more level of Crash Bandicoot, which was awesome, by the way, we see their daughter. Do you guys remember her name? Cassie, yeah.
Drake.
Cassie Drake. And
I guess technically it'd be Cassie Morgan, but...
Yeah,
that is true. That is true. Yeah, I mean, that I didn't expect that. Like, I thought that maybe, like, you would just see them having a child or, like, a baby or something. Like, if it was going to be a ending like that. But they skipped ahead, like, 16 years or, like, however old Cassie is.
Yeah, at least. I'd say 12.
No, she's 12.
She's 12, yeah. And Nathan's old. Well, not old, but definitely, like, probably in his 40s or something. And, yeah, like, that whole... Like, I think we were talking about this, but it gave me that vibe of, like, The Last of Us, because you kind of get out of it.
Yeah.
And everything's really quiet. So I was like, oh, God, what's going to happen? Like, are they going to weave The Last of Us into this? Or is, like, a clicker going to jump out? Or, like, are we going to go outside and there's news about fucking Boston or something? But...
okay.
You didn't get that?
I totally pictured The Last of Us happening.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
I didn't get that.
But then they could have ended the series. No one would ever be able to continue it because it'd just be The Last of Us now, and God sort of owns that. So
I think it would have been a funny Easter egg. I don't know how people would have actually liked that, but no, like as far it gave me a very Tomb Raider vibe. Like, what about you? Because like I thought
the actual ending with Cassie.
Yeah, because I thought like, oh man, like if they're gonna continue this now, it's gonna be Cassie Morgan. And her, like, she's obviously interested in.
If
the
you
treasure.
guys don't actually know, this is actually supposed to be Naughty Dog's last installment on Uncharted. They might let someone else take over the reins for like another storyline, but they've also mentioned that this should be Nathan's last, like,
story.
Yeah, he's like done.
Yeah.
So. It could be interesting having Cassian. It'd be kind of weird if Nathan's not supposed to have like a big role, especially since if you know the ending of the story, he like takes on like a recovery place.
Oh yeah,
Jason's Marine.
Oh yeah.
So he kind of still like finds things in the ocean and stuff, but
with permits. And
Legally this time.
Legally, but.
Oh man, yeah.
So it could be interesting because obviously Cassie's got a huge like information thing she could get from like Nathan about how they find treasures and even Sully too, and now Sam. So all those people could literally help her like be a treasure hunter too. Even though I don't think Nathan would really like that. But.
No.
If they were to continue the story with Cassie, I think it'd be really weird because that is literally like a Tomb Raider storyline with like, because her dad, Tomb Raider games were kind of the same way where her role model was her dad and he was also like a treasure hunter as far as I know. And this would literally be like Tomb Raider 2.0. And since the series were always different in the fact that Uncharted was kind of like the dudes one where like you had like this like alpha male Drake and then the Tomb Raider was obviously like up until the last two games, the reboots. But before that, that was like a completely different type of kind of game. So now if we were to have a female lead in Uncharted, it'd be literally directly competing with Lara Croft.
Or they could also go back in time to be like where you're playing as Sam.
Yeah. Sam's adventures, because I imagine him and Sully. Because Sully said he had a job.
Yeah, he was doing a job before
and Sam
the time skip. So
I just don't know how. Like, even though Sam was like a big character in the game, I don't know how. Like, for me, like, I loved him as a character, and like his whole arc was very interesting throughout the thing. But I don't know if I'd feel attached to him in the way that I want to continue playing as Sam.
No, I'm just saying that's how they could do it. Like, because I think personally they could do Sam more over Cassie, because Sam's doing treasure shit. Like, that's what him and Sully are going to be doing like the whole time.
Yeah, but that could just be like, they're probably going to do that anyways. Like,
could be a DLC.
Yeah, the thing is, like, I think with Cassie, they set it up that she was sneaking through all their shit and finding, like, she found out what her parents were actually doing, and she was obviously very interested in it. So to me, that was a clear sign that it was like, okay, she's gonna grow up into this, just like Nathan and Sam basically followed their legacy with
their mom.
Yeah. So I thought that was a very obvious, like, the next game, if there is one, could be like a 10-year jump or whatever. She's in her 20s.
That's true.
And she's, Nathan might not even be in it.
Yeah.
Or there'll be like a side character, like, or a reference or something like that.
But I mean, at the same point, if someone really wanted to, they didn't actually technically end Nathan's story. He's not dead. They could actually technically pull off another Uncharted.
Well, yeah, they could pull off many of them if they really wanted.
Yeah, but I think if they actually, like, Naughty Dog advertised it as this is his last adventure. By the ending, I didn't feel like it could be. Like, I think if they didn't want anyone else having Nathan Drake in the game, they should have killed him. I honestly think they should have killed him.
The ending was very open-ended.
Yeah. Oh no, well, like you said, because we could follow Sam, we could. I don't like Drake's. I mean, I know Sully's an older character, but actually playing as an older character as Drake, I think would be a little crazy.
You just pull a Taken.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I was actually going to say, like, if they were somehow to shoehorn Nathan into this again, I think it would be because, like, they capture or something with his daughter happens or something, or she gets, like, you start playing the game as her and she gets herself in trouble, and then Nathan has to step in. But I don't know, like, at that point, if we are going that far into the future, like 10 more years or something, then he's going to be old, and then, like, he's not going to be just scaling mountains anymore and shit like that. I mean, maybe, but, like, it would be a little bit.
Well, at the same time, they make Sully do it. So
it's just. But actually, I don't know.
Although in this one, he wasn't as agile. He was just flying.
Like, he was already. Yeah, like, Sully was already toned down.
No, I'm just saying that
in 3 and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Well, like, Sully's still, like, moving around and stuff, and I think Sully. I don't really know his age, but I think he's, like, probably in his 50s or.
Well, yeah,
60s, for sure.
Yeah, somewhere in there. So
yeah, well, because in Uncharted 3, he was what? He's like 20 years older than Nathan.
Nathan, yeah.
So, and Uncharted 3, Nathan was 15 when he was a kid. So he would be 35, and then now it's like 20 some years later.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say 55 to 65.
Yeah, so
I think if they did another one, it would be Cassie though, for sure.
Yeah,
and because she'd get herself into something, and then. I don't know.
That would actually be pretty cool. All of it would work out.
It's just like if they continue the Tomb Raider series, that'd be such an awkward competition of now female-led like Tomb Raider here. Like, because the other thing is Tomb Raider, because the way I see it, like Tomb Raider as a franchise kind of came out first, and then Uncharted was inspired by Tomb Raider. And then the Tomb Raider reboot was inspired by Uncharted, like, and added a lot more visceral kind of gunplay and stuff like that. And if they're playing off of each other, right? So if the next one is going to be a female lead-driven tomb raiding game or treasure hunting game, I guess in this case, it'd be so similar. It'd be really, really awkward having those two franchises.
But you could better anyways.
Well, I'm sure.
You could see a lot.
Well, so wasn't this also Naughty Dog's last Uncharted?
Yeah.
Yes.
So another studio would have to take it on.
Yeah,
And
that's
I gotta
true.
say
Then it would
that
be really.
I
Well,
gotta
it matters
say
who would.
because
It
Crystal.
could do a whole like Call of Duty thing where
Oh, there's like yeah.
no, but what I mean is like you go from like Infinity Ward, who makes Call of Duty like
best
the
Call of
big,
Duties, yeah.
makes Call of Duty the big enormous franchise that it is,
A
to
bunch of companies.
then to I think it's Treyarch,
Yeah.
Yeah.
who wasn't really that good at it, and then kind of ruined it to
Well,
some people. No, I'm just saying that a lot of people didn't like what Treyarch did to the game, where you could almost have the same type of feel out of this, where Naughty Dog makes Uncharted literally the biggest title for PlayStation ever, pretty much.
And then they milk it.
And then the next company could literally just be like, oh,
Yeah.
we just got the big,
Uncharted name.
yeah.
They definitely have huge shoes to fill because
Yeah.
Neil Druckmann and Bruce, like their games are insane. Like some of the best ever
I
made.
wouldn't say they're. I don't even know if I'd buy the next Uncharted if it wasn't by Naughty Dog.
Like it would be definitely like a thing where it depends who the developer is. Because like Crystal Dynamics, who now makes Tomb Raider,
Yeah,
they do a really good job. It's still not quite. It's not up there with Uncharted yet, I think, but they are like if Uncharted didn't exist, that game would be like
yeah,
top notch,
of
right?
it. So
So if Naughty Dog, let's say, continued with like The Last of Us or something, and they passed on their franchise, it better be a
good.
really
big
good
name.
studio, yeah.
Okay, so Pirate Harry, or
Pirate Harry, Pirate
what's, Avery. What's his first name? Henry?
Henry Avery,
Yeah, Henry.
Yeah, Harry Avery.
Harry Avery.
Oh man.
Okay.
Yeah.
Captain Henry Avery.
I mean, we talked about in the review how we thought that plot was really interesting. Like for me, it was the
Yeah.
first
The
Uncharted
subplot.
subplot that actually like stood out to me and I wanted to pay attention
Yeah.
to, because the other ones I thought were just a little bit over the top, like Indiana Jones type things I didn't care about.
That's
But-
very true.
Yeah, this was like something where I was like, I wanted to know more about it. But let's talk about the pirates for a second here and
Yeah.
their little their thieves and betrayals and all that pirate shenanigans that happens. Because like going through it, like at the beginning, Avery sounds like it just sounds like someone that wants people to find his treasure, and there's no like
Yeah.
obviously you know it's an Uncharted game, so you know there's going to be things involved later in the plot that are going to make things turn bad.
Yeah.
But like at the beginning, it just seems like this is like a big treasure that these pirates left behind, and then we get more and more into the story of Avery basically turning into an insane person through, I guess, their quabbles with other pirates, and eventually the greed and everything got to them.
Yeah, eventually everyone just wanted all the money.
Yeah, like the first scene that I kind of want to talk about that kind of, it didn't give me shivers, but it was like, holy shit, this is crazy, was like when you go through the old village, or like the houses of the pirates. And before this, you walk through the cathedral, or not the cathedral, but the lost city,
Yeah.
where you saw, like you walked in the room and all the leaders had the word thief all over their
Yeah.
paintings and
Yeah.
stuff, and I was like, holy shit. And that kind of picked that story up, where it's like, I want to know now what went down here. And then we get to the private property, I guess, of the leader pirates there, and we start seeing how things went down, and we see that table where they're all having dinner, and then we start finding out that Avery and I think
Tommy
too or something, or Thompson
Tommy
too.
2 arm or thug or something.
Yeah,
I
him
remember.
and Avery took off. And that scene, I was like, holy crap, that's pretty crazy. Like,
Well, even those two like eventually like had a quabble.
Yeah.
yeah, well, no, it's like as soon as, like, obviously, like, you see these two, Avery and Tommy too, or whatever his name is. Obviously, they team up and they bring everyone else together and kind of like kill them like cattle. And then at that point, it's pretty obvious, like, okay, these guys are fucking nuts. Only one of those guys is going to survive, because eventually those two are going to start fighting over the gold and the treasure and the glory.
It was cool because it started small with just the civilians and all the other people.
Yeah.
They start taking money from them. Then they attack them. And then all the actual captains started fighting amongst each other,
Yeah.
and teaming up and this and that. And then when it came down to the last two, the right-hand man and the main guy, they eventually just killed each other anyway. So, and well, it's sort of cool because that's sort of what happened with Rafe. He was just obsessed.
Yeah.
And he just eventually just wanted to kill Sam and Nadine, and
He just wanted to take
he just
everything.
wanted to kill everyone.
Yeah, that is actually a good point. Like, it was a reflection of, like, Avery was obviously in the past, but now we see that same obsession with Rafe, and to a certain extent Sam. Like, obviously, I don't think he was ready to kill Nathan or something for it, but
No,
you saw that theme of obsession running through the game, and
Yeah.
Rafe was definitely like that. He was basically turning into Avery,
But
except like
also at the same point, like Sam was also, since he did take off and he knew his brother was going to follow him, he technically disregarded Nathan's life for at least a little bit there.
yeah. I mean, yeah,
He
obviously
didn't care.
he put that in front of him, and obviously his personal life. But like what I thought when we first find the village where we see thief written everywhere,
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be a story where, Avery left all this treasure, and then we get there, and in the game they're already saying like, oh, what if all the treasure is gone? Like,
Yeah.
what if they took it back? So I thought that the villagers would rebel against them, and they would take all the treasure, and then at the end there wouldn't be anything
Yeah.
to be found. But turns out that
Well, that's what I first thought when you enter that
where they're all
the
spiked up
house,
and shit.
and it obviously you see like the huge battle went on,
Yeah.
and I was just like, damn, like
They
the
killed all
colony,
these people.
the colony just came in and
Yeah.
killed fucking
Bunch.
Avery and Tommy's. Like, I thought actually the 12 captains got killed by their own people. When
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did
that's
see
how
that.
I thought it was gonna go, and then
And then you find out it was Avery. Yeah.
is Avery just holding everything with Tommy in that like room with the
Yeah.
thief and all that, and you're just like, wow.
And I think Uncharted did a really good job of turning it into kind of, obviously not a horror game, but like as you delve more into the obsession that you find about with Captain Avery or Henry Avery, where you start going in the caves and you start finding the traps, and then like all of a sudden it's those 3 sections where it's like the mouths that, or what was the first one? Like
Oh,
the first one was not the hearts, but
yeah.
forgot. But like, yeah, you see all those different levels, and then all their like skulls and like
Yeah.
jaws and stuff
He
hanging
started
there.
killing his own
Yeah.
men and everyone. He
Yeah.
just went insane.
Yeah, and well, yeah, you could see through those scenes that it kind of reminded me of like, kind of like in Diablo 2, like the butcher, like the first boss where you like just see him like setting up all these weird
Yeah.
things, right? Like it just gave you that like creepy feeling of, man, this guy's fucking nuts. And you go through these caves and it just gets worse, and then you get the exploding mummies and all those traps,
Yeah,
which
that-
were
that- those were
Oh my
creepy as
God.
hell.
I screamed the first time I saw him. So. Seriously, I
What?
screamed. I'm like,
you are a very reactive person.
It
But no,
scared
like,
the shit out of me. Okay.
well, even me, like the first time I ran down there, and then all of a sudden like 5 grenade signs like go off, or like the explosion signs
Yeah.
or whatever, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah,
Like,
I thought I was getting ambushed. I didn't realize it was mummies at first.
yeah, and then
was
that's
just
the
like,
thing.
what's
Then the
going on?
mummies start exploding. I'm
Yeah.
like, what the heck is
Well,
this?
it's on my behalf. Like, it made me think of the fire demons from the third one, because there's like
Oh,
flames on some like
yeah.
skulls. I'm like, they said there's no supernatural things in this game. What is this? And it's just went slow motion. I screamed, and yeah,
Yeah.
it was just a terrifying experience.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and the first couple times, like the first one, obviously you have to like run back, and then
Yeah.
the second one you actually have to run forward. So in the
Yeah.
second one, I kept running
Well,
back
in
and
one,
getting killed.
They did, you could go beside them. They didn't do it. You're like,
Yeah, like what's going on?
what's going on?
But I like that they didn't add the supernatural twist, because that
Yes.
made everything feel more believable, more grounded, and
Yeah.
more interesting, because it's something that, even though this isn't a real life story, it feels like history, and it's kind of cool.
I've never liked the supernatural stuff in any of the Uncharted games,
Yeah.
except for in 3, it was a hallucination. It
Yeah.
was never an actual supernatural element.
Yeah,
But it was in the other 2. I'm like, this is just stupid.
yeah,
Like, I've never liked that.
yeah. It was just always like a gameplay thing, right? And
Yeah.
Now here they just focused on the story, and I mean Neil and Bruce coming off The Last of Us, like obviously they find very interesting ways to make fantastical worlds feel real,
Yeah.
right? And they did the same thing here. But we wanted to talk about the motivation with Sam, real quick too. We already kind of covered Sam's twist, but what do you guys think of why he lied and why he initiated it like that?
Well, one, he had to get Nate away from his family. Nate wasn't going to leave unless there's something high at stake.
Yeah.
And there was.
Yeah, technically.
And that's why Nate was like, well, what? And when he could have just been at home, not doing this, and
Elaine.
living a happy life.
Yeah, basically, Sam probably found out about Elena, and because I mean, he technically just got out of prison at that point, or a couple of weeks before that, or something like that, right?
Yeah.
And he probably found out about everything that Nathan has kind of built for himself in the meantime. And then, in order to go on this treasure hunt that he wanted, he had to make up some pretty crazy story.
Yeah, and made it believable.
Which, and again, the game did a really good job of making it think
Really
that.
believable until you realize when Rafe says,
Well, obviously,
by the way, Alcazar has been dead for 6 months. It's
well,
like,
you'd think since Rafe broke him out of jail, or bought him out of jail, that he would have just stuck with Rafe. But Sam never really liked Rafe. And
that was
the reason he
interesting.
would have went to Nate is because they've been dreaming about this for their entire lives. He wanted a brother with him.
it's pretty much their
That's the
mom's
reason. Yeah.
their mom's
Dream.
dream.
Yeah, when we went back to the flashback and
Yeah.
we're like, this is our legacy, like this is what we're meant to do.
Yeah.
And on top of that, like I think we find out pretty early in the game too that both Nathan and Sam
Don't
they
really
think
like
that
him at all.
Rafe's obviously an uncontrollable prick.
Yeah.
And he never seemed like the guy that he was almost like the business guy in the team, right? Like he was the guy who just thought about the money and stuff like that, whereas Nathan first and foremost was the guy that actually really cared about the treasure and knew his history enough to find out where these things are leading them. And that's why like in every game Nathan is kind of one step ahead in terms of knowing like what's actually going on, and that would kind of explain why he ditches.
I think also it's because Nathan probably seems like the smartest person out of the whole crew based on like obviously the previous games and just his knowledge about pretty much everything besides maybe Sam.
He's like grand historian basically.
So like that way it seems pretty like Nate doesn't really like Rafe because obviously, and he also thinks that there's no way the treasure can be found. So he, based on what I understand, they kind of left on like a rocky ending between him and Rafe. So obviously Sam and Rafe know that there's no way Nate's going to come back for any apparent reason.
Yeah.
So Sam probably left and was just like, oh, well, if you left on bad terms on my brother, why would I want to stick with you? Yeah. So that could probably be another reason.
Well, Rafe is power hungry too.
Yeah.
It's hard to deal with.
And I mean, even him and Nadine, like Rafe and Nadine have those conversations early on where they're like, no, we need Nathan in this, right? Like you find out that Rafe is basically like his whole thing was he wanted to seek out Nathan, like he wanted to bring Nathan into this in a way that Nathan wouldn't consciously kind of know. And that was their little quabble between Nadine and him. And it's very interesting.
I mean, and also Rafe was very jealous of Nathan by then because he already found all these lost cities and stuff. And by the end of their sword fight, that's when he explains everything. So.
Well, before we get to the little sword fight, like that was the other thing with Rafe was like he had all the riches that he needed in the world, right? Probably all the women, all the money.
He didn't earn it.
Yeah, he didn't earn it, and he never had that exhilarating adventure that Nathan had of, tracking down this treasure. But to him, I think obviously it wasn't really about the journey; it was about the destination of getting the treasure, and right, or just being able to say, "I found this and I have this." Whereas I think even for Sam, but especially for Nathan, it's also about the chase, right, more than the actual treasure. And we kind of get that since Nathan never was able to actually get any treasure anyways, but
he wasn't greedy enough.
Yeah, like you can tell in the beginning too when he's talking to Elena, like you're just looking at that picture and like he just loves that kind of chase and that.
Yeah.
He just likes to be a traveler, man.
Yeah, man. Traveler for treasure.
Well, even to a certain extent when you get on the island with Elena, even her, she likes, obviously, like they say in like at the end, like after they finish all that stuff, she realizes,
That's who
you know, I really like that stuff too. I miss it too. Like
No.
that's why obviously they buy.
The company.
Yeah.
But it's just like,
They're born to be
No.
treasure hunters.
yeah, man.
And that's how they fell in love. So they just keep on.
Keeping on.
Yeah.
Keep on keeping on.
Oh yeah, they rekindle their love through when they find like when Elena actually joins them again, and
Yeah.
that was another thing. Like when
Yeah, that was
when Elena all of a sudden popped up after Sam or not
Yeah,
Sam after he
that
pushed,
whole scene is just crazy.
and he pushed Nathan off the cliff. Or sorry, no. He shot, and then Sam went in front of Nathan, and Nathan toppled backwards.
Yeah.
But and then Elena just pops out of nowhere, and then you find out her and Sully, came back because Sully also knew like he couldn't leave Nathan and Sam alone because he probably also was able to smell something fishy going on there. But that whole sequence was just like mind blow after mind blow. But yeah, like when Elena actually comes back, you can tell that like she also misses it, and they have their little conversations in between of.
Yeah, they're really awkward conversations.
I don't know. I love that because it felt like it's Uncharted 1 again.
Yeah,
It was so awesome.
Yeah, and I also it just felt like actually kind of like a romantic journey for them.
Yeah.
And like at that point, it was like, oh well, if I had a girlfriend, like this would be an awesome adventure.
You're driving through the forest in the stolen Jeep.
Yeah.
Like not through the mud, but when it gets up to that forest part after your elevator or something.
Oh yeah.
It has like the piano going and you're going through the trees.
Yeah.
It was beautiful. It brought a tear to my eye. Seriously.
No, like I mean, no tears were shed on my part. I mean, it was obviously very emotional, but like I agree. Like I was kind of put into that situation, and I was like, damn, like this would be.
But you felt their love sort of like reconnecting.
Yeah,
That.
exactly. Like that emotion of their love and stuff like really stood out at that point.
Yeah.
And at least I was able to connect to it, even though I've never been in that situation before. But it was.
You'd have a pretty interesting life if you've been there before.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be here doing this. I'd be fucking with my $400 million treasure just off in the Cayman Islands or something. But yeah, no, that was really good, really well done.
All in all, the ending was good, but how do you guys think your dream ending would have been?
Now we're like Sully in my cigar.
Okay. Anyways, so I think I think it would have been a little more interesting if Alcazar was actually a real thing instead of like the twist making it so he's not there. Maybe like Alcazar just randomly shows up on the island because it's 3 months or like ended and they didn't realize it.
Yeah.
So that could have made it a little more interesting.
Alcazar wouldn't have known where to go, though. I think Alcazar would have had to come when they were in that little town when they landed.
Yeah, something like
Yeah.
just to make it a little more interesting. Because in my personal opinion, Rafe is like he's like a lunatic, but
Alcazar
he's still not like totally insane in my personal opinion.
Alcazar is like a hardcore criminal.
Yeah,
like he'll just kill fools for no reason, kind of thing. But I mean, Rafe honestly is pretty crazy too. But yeah, he's not. Like,
Yeah, he threatens people, but for the most part, he doesn't seem like. Obviously, he tries to shoot Nate, but that's after he's just like, no, I'm not going to help you, pretty much. So it's like, Rafe is crazy, but most of the time, like when I saw him, it was like I didn't really assume he was going to do anything like.
Drastic.
Yeah, like nothing like super over the top. Like I think he was more talk than really.
I don't know.
Near the at the end, he was insane.
Yeah.
Like
you can tell like when Nadine was backing off and she was like, no, like you guys can die here, like screw this. You can tell that he was very passionate about that.
Yeah.
But you basically wanted to see like a showdown between like Hector, Alcazar, and Rafe.
Well, no,
Or,
I just
obliteration of Rafe.
I just wanted like because Hector I thought would have added more suspense and more intensity at the end because obviously Hector's like promising to kill Sam or he's gonna like torture him with other means. Like he's like I'm not gonna. Death is only going to be a mercy I'm not going to give you or whatever he says to him. So it's just like, you know, he's gonna fucking torture his family or some crazy shit. So it's like he's gonna be a total lunatic. Where
Like that, maybe like he would maybe eventually kill Nate.
like
and then
even
Sam
they
would
found the
save
treasure and they came back and they were gonna try to like hide it or something.
Yeah.
Or they're like, okay, here's your 200 million. He's just like, nah, you guys took way too long. I want all of it or something.
Yeah. And then
there's a showdown.
Yeah, like
Like
something.
especially between Sam and him.
Yeah.
Because at that point, Nathan would probably be like, okay, like just let him have it, and Sam would be like, no.
Yeah, exactly.
This is ours. We deserve it, type of thing.
Yeah.
And then someone would die.
But
Now, I guess another storyline could have been because from the beginning, people thought Sam was shady.
Yeah.
From that first gameplay reveal.
Yeah, all the gameplay
Yeah.
reveals made him seem
He's
like a villain.
he's a shady
almost.
guy. And especially by the end, I totally thought he was going to do something.
Yeah.
Like maybe when you do find the treasure, then Sam's like, well, you left me to rot for 15 years.
and then
I
leave
think
him in
you
the
stay
cave.
ship.
Yeah. That would have been
That
crazy
would be
too.
I mean, like, I think they could have ended a lot more interestingly. They chose the safest way possible. They really did. It was a really good ending, but the safest way possible.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, I mean, on the other hand, too, because a lot of people were like, oh, like coming off The Last of Us, they're probably going to make a really dark ending, blah, blah, blah. So they, I don't think they wanted to do that because it seems like every game that they've ended, like especially The Last of Us ending, was also totally unexpected. And I think they wanted to do the same thing here where even though it's not a crazy ending, it was something that I don't think anyone really thought like, oh, we're going to see their daughter like growing up and like...
It was never a controversial ending though, as people said it was. I'm like, no, that didn't...
Yeah.
I don't think anyone could be upset with the ending.
Yeah, it was
It's
a
not
good
possible.
ending. It was just, like...
Yeah, if you were expecting something like ridiculously shocking or whatever, then you might be like disappointed. But
The other thing is throughout the game, I kind of thought when we're getting to the end that nothing crazy was going to happen because throughout the whole game there's no shocking, like you never get a hint of anything like it would be out of the blue if like the ending was really dark and stuff because it wouldn't fit with what the rest of the game kind of was.
like the only moment I think that they could have gone like dark, kinda, is if Rafe took out his sword and then walked over to Sam and just stabbed him or something.
Yeah.
Right before the sword fight, so then like, you know, Nate's like, no, why did you kill my brother? And then like it would have been like really crazy.
Yeah.
But even then it was just like, well, I guess Nate, what's his name? Rafe thought he was dead because of the log, but
Yeah. Or he
still,
was gonna die
yeah.
I think they all thought they were going to die.
Yeah, I thought for sure someone was gonna die, like if it was by accident or on purpose or something. And I was kind of, even though they faked out Sully a couple times, I thought maybe he'd be like a safe character to kill off because it would be sad, but it wouldn't be like Nathan or Elena dying, or maybe Sam dying because he would kind of bring this upon himself.
Yeah.
Like after you find out he didn't do it to save his life, he did it for the greed, or not for the greed, but like because he wanted to go on a treasure hunt just to get kind of the treasure and the adventure, and he obviously couldn't just tell Nate, hey, come with me, bro.
Yeah.
So if he would have died at the end, it would have been like a, I don't know, like a very
But at the same time,
poetic thing.
It would have been really, like, because they tried to draw so many parallels to the back, like in the day with the pirates, like their obsession and stuff. I almost thought that maybe they would like do a thing where the sword fight, they'd both kill each other off.
Yeah.
Because that's how they kind of, it felt like they were trying to draw so many parallels to the old, like,
And then Sam
pirate story.
That'd be crazy if, like, Nate and I keep calling him Avery, Rafe. If Nate and Rafe fought and they both died, and then Sam actually survived, and then Sam had to live with the fact that he dragged his brother into this, and then not only does Elena have no one anymore, but like he lost his brother all because he just wanted to go
because
on a
of
treasure hunt.
Then in return, I guess maybe since Elena's, she wasn't pregnant then, but if she did mention that at some point,
that would be
if
crazy.
Sam like took on the duty to like, since he did kill his brother, like to raise maybe the daughter, whatever it was.
That would have been like an ending that was be touching and sad at the same time.
I think something like that would have been suiting. I mean, I don't know.
It wouldn't be too like, it's dark, but it wouldn't be like over the top crazy, like drug lords coming in to kill everyone and shit like that. Like it would be like a nice alternative ending, I think, for the game, right?
I do think it should end with something more like that. I am a little bit slightly disappointed with the ending, but I mean that's because I did expect something crazy to happen. If I knew it wasn't going to be something crazy, I'd be happy with it.
If I never played The Last of Us, I probably wouldn't have thought something like that could happen anyways, because Uncharted was never a dark game like that.
No.
But because we watched Game of Thrones and Walking Dead and played like The Last of Us and stuff, like
Well,
everything is about drama, so you're expecting like
But
an
it was
ending
also
with a shock.
advertised as a thief's end.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Like Sam and I kind of talked about this before too. Like the first E3 trailer, it's got very dark music. It's a very somber tone. He's like, you can tell he's like half dead. Like he's been through some shit. He's getting out of the river, walking through the forest, and it pans up to the dead pirates, and then like very somber music
mountain.
just coming up, and the thief's end's like written out.
Yeah.
And it just felt like, obviously, like it would have been too predictable almost if Nathan died after that trailer, because that would have been like on the dot, like a thief's end. But I don't know. That would have been really cool, I think.
I think it would have been more suiting because I mean it's not misadvertising as like the Order was, because the Order was completely like a cutscene of a game when it was labeled as the next Gears of War.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, like, it was almost misadvertising, as in, you're gonna buy this game because it is his last adventure. You're gonna see what happens to Nathan and how it happens, and you're gonna be disappointed if you expect something crazy to happen.
Yeah, and I think like because Amy Hennig, I think was her name, who was writing, always wrote Uncharted, and we don't know why I think she left, but at the very beginning of the production, I think she was probably done writing the story. She left, and then Neil and Bruce kind of took over, and some other writers, and that's why I think it was like maybe they had a different story, or maybe they were gonna go a darker route, but then went back to maybe Amy's ending or something. Like who knows exactly
instead
what
of killing
happened.
off the character that she made, maybe just let him sail off.
Well, they definitely changed it up a little bit, because obviously.
Well, does anyone remember the very first trailer for it?
No.
The map.
Yeah, and there was
you left me to rot for 15 years. I think it was gonna be Sam betraying Nate.
Yeah, like because the very first map trailer had
that was dark.
Yeah, it was like, oh shit, we're gonna see some we're gonna see some.
Well, that's one thing I noticed during the game, which was kind of strange. It's like every time like a weird encounter, or like, oh, you left me in the jail for 15 years, and it's just like, oh, if I knew that, I would have come back and helped you. And then he's just like, oh, just forget about it. It's just like,
I think there would have been a grudge of some kind.
There's just like some parts where it's just like, even when Rafe like talks to him after like you just gone through this huge battle where you killed literally all of Nadine's people, and then Nadine comes up and she's just like, oh, it's you. And it's just like, wouldn't she feel a little more like of a grunge, him just plowing through like 1,000 of her guys, just like killing them all? It's just like, that part, it was just like, huh.
Anyways, I'm gonna have to cut you guys off there. It looks like that's all the time we got today for this. Let us know what you guys think. What did you think of Uncharted 4? What ending, like, did you like the ending, or is there something different you would have wanted, just like we did? Although, to be clear, I think we all loved the ending.
Yeah, it was really good.
I agree with the ending.
There was a lot of material there where we would have been like, oh man, it'd be interesting to do this. So let us know if you thought something else was going to happen, or if you wish they went a different route. Subscribe if you want to see more. We're going to be probably doing a Doom multiplayer review and some more discussions, and give us a like if you like Blake. Give him a dislike if you like Also check out, we'll probably put a link. He has a pretty cool drumming channel. He's our drummer for our little band, and he also does some covers here, so we'll probably link that.
Yeah, man.
Anyways, guys, have a good one.
Bye. See ya.
Bye.